People feel as though I don't love, but please God forgive me if I'm being too bitter. Allow me to see where I can be sweeter. Allow me to see where I'm blocking my own blessings. Allow me to know without feeling so convinced that my way is the right way. Allow me to attract into this world health and wealth. Keep me healthy. Give me divine purpose. Allow me not to carry the demonic energy or things that allow me to feel as though my ego needs to be right. Allow me to let go and to shed more than I pick up, God. In the name of Tahuti, in the name of Sekhmet, in the name of Ma'at, in the name of Yamaya, in the name of Olokun, in the name of Mamawata, in the name of Obatala, Oshun, all things beautiful, all things true. Allow there to be balance in my life, Creator. Allow there to be peace in my life, God. Please bring peace into my heart where I feel hurt, but yet still you came to my space, and people don't care. If they want something from you and you're willing to give it to them, it doesn't matter what you don't have. If you're willing to give it to them, then that's on you. And what I realize is that all these concepts of balance and of love and of abundance and of unconditional energy, these are all terms. But unless we activate and unless we are actually living, how are we going to know when something becomes stagnant? How are we going to know when we're not able to see the forest for the trees? How are we going to know if our ideology is actually stagnating abundance in our life? How are we going to know any of these things? And what I realize is that everything around us was so in a space of feeding off of knowledge and intellectual property, but you know, this man that I was supporting was not only in pain, but was still in a space of giving so much. But what happens when you give when you feel you're depleted? Or perfect example, this past summer, you know, or a year ago, my stepdaughter, now mind you, this is my son's father's daughter. He has a daughter and a son. His son is 21 now and his daughter's 19, or gonna be 19. Long story short, he has not seen his children in over 10, 12 years. And it has affected him as I'm sure it's affected his children. But where are we as a community where we're not even able to talk about these things and say, hey, the women that had these children, where are they emotionally? Nobody cares. People move on. People get other boyfriends. And what I realized is that, you know, I was way too invested about something that had nothing to do with me, because I'm actually one of those people that's really invested in the larger circle, in the family, in all of these things that really people are so much more orientated, that I was getting caught up in stuff that was not my lesson. But I always felt if you see something in pain, whether it's yours or not, you go to its aid. You see if you can be of service to it. So when I saw, you know, my stepdaughter in pain in certain ways, I would talk to her about stuff and we would open up. But what I realized is after 11 years, mind you, she has not seen us, been around us, anything. She visited, and I'm bringing this up to talk about how do blended families move on when there is one element of the family that is unwilling to talk, to communicate, to grow, to anything. How do you grow? How do you move on? You still as a person have got to grow and move on, even when these people don't want healing, even when people are not well, even when people are like, you know what, I'm gonna punish my daughter. Like my stepdaughter came out here to meet my son, her brother, for the first time, and the week that she was here, her mother must have given her such guilt and such heartache for just being with her father for a week after not seeing him for 10 years. And it caused a heaviness in our energy. It caused a heaviness in our space. I could see that she was being pulled. I talked to her about it. She's like, I want to be here, but when I'm here, it's negating and taking away from my mother. And these are things that certain women at times do, regardless if you are aware of it or not. We all affect one another. And I don't think that women sometimes want to take responsibility for being really powerful at affecting people and just acting like they don't. You know, I try to avoid all of that pain and all of that energy for 10 plus years and act like, oh, we can move on because we're gonna have to, right? But this energy doesn't go anywhere. This man was still in pain. This man still wasn't able to communicate with his firstborn. And it wasn't my responsibility and it wasn't my fault, but it still colored our home. It still shaped the type of people we were becoming and the type of person that I was choosing to become. And I said to myself, I want to be of service, but not so much where I'm so weighed down that I'm not able to even get up for myself. And were these things happening, things that are affecting not only them as a whole, but are going to affect me in small ways that I tried ignoring and acting like wasn't, you know? And these things do matter. These women, sidebar, someone asked me the other day, have you ever been in a threesome? No. Asir wrote a song about having a polyamorous relationship. I've never kissed a girl. I've never been in a threesome. I've never been with another woman. And you know, just because he was with two women, you know, I wanted to create that because oftentimes the experiences that your child's father or that you didn't even realize someone else had gone through, you were starting to entertain and pick up. So no, I've never been with a girl. I've never been with a woman. I'm not negating anyone who has, but it's not something that I experienced. So I don't want to ever act like or take on the energy that that's something that I know about. And it took the innocence away. It took the beauty out of certain things that for the first at least 10 years for me, even with the baby mama drama, I was still able to kind of feel like I could come up and float and survive. So, you know, all these things were to say when you support someone who, you know, has baby mama drama, you become a part of that baby mama drama. I didn't know that, nor did my elders slow me down and go, look, sister, what are you dealing with and what's going on and let's help. Create ease. When that ease is no longer there, it's either up to you to address it or to continue to act like it's gonna change when your patterns of behavior don't. So for me, I didn't want to become that woman. I didn't want to be that person. So feeling like the loser in a community or feeling like, wow, you know, you're not, people still think that I'm in a union because I'm willing to respect the fact that my son has such an amazing relationship with his father. And where do we as women say, you gotta fall back and say, you can't have it all. How am I gonna have, you know, that and still in a sense be like, okay, let me go out at night and go dating. I just, the last couple years, have created an environment that's my own. And what was lost or what heartache have we both experience based on switching up patterns of behavior or, you know, the fact that this person might deserve someone or want someone to be in the same space. When you are not well, you look for a path to get well. And I, no matter what, don't ever want to hold on to what I think is mine to such a degree that it prevents something else from becoming or for attracting what it needs in its life. So that if that means that I'm celibate for the next 3 years, then so be it. Because I do not want to disrespect the consistency or the union that my son has with his father, nor do I want to attract a man in my life that I have to convince, hey, I'm in a shitty space with this man, so we can be good. Like, it's almost as though in order for you to be in a relationship or to allow a man to feel as though you can be with them, it's like you can have no goodness with whomever you created a life with. And that's just the L that I have to swallow. I do not want to be so invested in romance and in love and in partnership that I end up negating or placing that on a greater frequency than what my son requires and what he needs from his father that has everything to do with me and nothing to do with me at all. And I don't think that women really like talking about that because I've watched my son respond in ways to his father, and mind you, his father will travel, do this, that, and the third, but when he is with him, it is like no other connection. And I'd be damned if I act like that isn't something that he needs. Now, should I be going out on dates? Should I be this? Should I be that? It would have been nice, but based on my given circumstances, that's not something that I can do and raise my son in the environment and make whomever else that's new in my life feel and pursue my dreams and my goals, you understand, there has to be something that's traded off. And what I realized is I've been fighting that trade-off. It's great because we're saging ourselves, we're taking showers, we're trying to do things as a people, as women, that keep our energy lifted and up. I don't want to feel as though if people don't see me in this union that I'm a loser and that everything else has failed in my life. No, but I also don't want to be in a union where the innocence is gone, and be in a union where, you know, the things that I feel need addressing, not everyone wants to address. I can't make people talk about stuff that they don't want to talk about. I can't make, you know, oh, beautiful fish. How do you deal with knowing that you've helped so many brothers and families and sons and daughters, but yet still yours is in a disarray, in the sense that maybe that's where these women have gotten their power from, in saying, hey, no matter what, we're not going to allow this man to be with his kids. So he just decided to move on and say, you know, F it, I'm gonna move on in my life. But in having and having another little boy, you know, my son sometimes talks, and, you know, his father brought up, you know, his brother Aries and all these amazing things, but I had to keep it real and say, Amor, you might not ever meet Aries. You might not ever meet your brother. Not because I don't want that, but because it's been over 12 years and this family does not communicate. They won't communicate. They don't communicate. It's just not something that they do. And some people like existing in pain. It's the thing that keeps the relationship going. And I didn't want to be a part of that. And a little too late, right? My kid is in this family. I'm in this family. So I always go, well, what am I really a part of? And I go, I created this life force, and this is what I want to be responsible for. Because everything else is not my creation, and it's too much to take care of. So don't be afraid. Like, these are the things, that everything happens for a reason. And I'm so grateful to have been where I was and to be where I'm at today, so that we can grow, we can move, we can do all the things that the Creator has in store for us. But I can't get there if I'm addicted to an equation that doesn't even define who I am, or if I'm addicted to being right or being around the same women. Like, certain women circles were taking place, but every woman that came out of it had no man, was not happy, and was not in a relationship. So how are you going through these sacred moments, but nothing is sacred? Nothing is, you have no privacy. Nothing is being held on to. You're having so much sex with people that you've got to keep recycling groups, because whenever you enter a group, you don't know if the person that's in it is going to tell. All of that, these are what is happening as well. But what I've realized is that there is so much openings for us to just walk in to whatever role, not only that we want to be seen as, but that we want to play. I will always remind women to take care of their families no matter what the men are doing. I will always remind and hopefully inspire people to know to cook when they have no food in their fridge. I will always try to remain light amongst all this darkness. I'm somebody that likes to crack jokes, is that we shouldn't be afraid to talk about our experiences because they're not shared by other women. So right now, it's like a huge thing to have, you know, a man by your side, or to have sex in order to feel womanly, or to be a woman, or to have this femininity. It's not true. Yes, I'm right for yourself. Ask yourself, I've been doing this for a while. Am I close to my goals, or have I just kind of acted like I've done or accomplished one of them? So when I moved out here, certain things, too straight. I had friends like, girl, I don't know what you're gonna do after you have this baby. Girl, you know you can't go grocery shopping, and so why don't you help me? Why don't you see that I need a baby shower? Why don't you see that I'm 8 months pregnant and this man, why don't you? Nah, we're gonna watch and let's see how this folds. It's more interesting watching these two break than it is gonna be. And that's what I realized. Like, if I'm communicating, hey, I'm broken, I need, and these people are like, wow, you're broken. Well, you know, move on, new day tomorrow. Then those aren't the people that you need to talk about feeling broken to. They can't handle it. They can only handle you in a situation where you're just so on the pedestal, so that this. And then some people act like, no, I want to get to know you, but you can sense the difference. You can feel when you're judged. You can feel when someone's like, ooh, that bitch is, same thing. That's why I have small groups. People ask me all the time. And I'm so, son, all the time. I teach yoga. I just don't teach yoga in studios anymore because it's like Tracy Ellis Ross saying, you know, she has this, that, and the third, but she can't. Well, I actually have a man that's willing to do anything, but because I know what weight, what comes with, what heaviness, what anger, or I can't make someone not be angry. I can't make someone figure out how to transmute pain. I can't make someone be lighter. I can't make someone, you understand? So if these are the things that we become over time, you have to say to yourself, am I with an idea of this person, or am I with the person who he is or who they become? So all of this is to say, when you find yourself in these spaces, you got to say to yourself, what have I not done for myself? What do I feel I dropped the ball on? Because again, it's not Asir's fault that his daughter and his son's mother, the mother of his children, don't communicate and haven't in 12 years. It's just affected how everything has been. And these people have not spoken to him for over 12 years and probably won't, because some people just like functioning in extreme chaos. And thank God Asir made a choice and said, you know what, I'm not chasing. But that did not negate him becoming an absent father. So you've got to understand all the work that someone does for other people. He must have at least 100 people's passports, okay? But then you can't even, you understand, get your own. This is the ebb and flow when I talk to people about it. I talk to people about certain things you just end up losing when you gain so much. And you can't go back. So I can't go back and say, oh, I wish that I chose somebody that had no baby mama drama. I didn't wish that. I enjoyed the person that I met in 1999 and said, wow, the way his family, the way his mother, that's not right. Was it right for me to come in and try to be the savior of the day? I definitely paid a price for it, but I have stuff that I'm grateful for that I learned. I jumped, I tried, I didn't make my rules write me out of an experience, but I learned. I don't really like soliciting energy, whether it's astrology or teaching or modalities of cleaning your home. Certain things are just sacred because they're sacred. So it can't be sacred and private, but then be showcased and, you know, all over for everyone. And I'm not going to tell women things just to solicit money and try to be seen as like the guru of relationships or like, you know, the best at this, that, or the third, when in actuality, being the best is being the most honest in the moment. To me, that's being the best, because you're not lying, you're not being deceptive, you're not putting yourself in this state, which is what everybody does, right? But you'll start to notice that some people put themselves in these states and they can't keep it up, because we can talk about healthy this and that, and how do you feel at night if really you really don't have that? Or really it's just an act that you're purporting in order to sell or to look. At the end of the day, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you don't want to be doing that. At least I would hope. Some people are here to just be of disservice though, and we have to allow that to be. So as that's taking place, I want to remind people that are in relationships that are like, I can't get out of it though, girl, because then I ain't gonna have no dick. And hey, see what happens when you don't. See what happens when you choose to sometimes. I don't know. I just know that, look, after 14, I can't just expect and not expect all the energy that comes with it, or someone to feel owed or deserved, because I've been down that road before. But boy, oh boy, is it missed. And I sometimes go, I wish I could just have and go back. But going back literally is going back. You've got to make sure that you're not repeating the same patterns of going, oh, did I just fool myself and say this time passed and I'm actually purporting and doing the same thing that I thought that I got out of? Like, be very careful with stuff like that as well, and write your goals down. Sometimes people make like little excuses like, oh, I have goals, but really I haven't accomplished any of them. If you have certain goals, you really have to be like, what am I not doing to get there? So for me, then you can start talking, then you can be of service to others, because I can't even feel until I clean up. And all of this requires money. It requires finding a sports medicine doctor. It requires all of these busy things in life. We can help each other. I can say, okay, girl that had sex with 60 men, let me connect you with the one that had sex with 120, so that you can see and compare stories and not feel bad about that. Some women have amazing stories through sex and should be sharing them, whether it be about threesomes, about how to orgasm. All these women talk about, thank God, the yoni egg community done, and all of that, sticking crystal up the pum pum, faded. But I couldn't 2 years ago talk about, look, this yoni community, y'all are bugging. Not only are y'all bugging, but these are all women that are looking to become popular at a time where now nudity is no longer popular. Now being a porn star is something that everybody will do on Tumblr. So what's going to differentiate you from the other nudists and porn stars? And what I realized is all these women jumped on the metaphysics, I'm smart train, I'm conscious train. And that's great, but we all come with the history. So even though you might be that, you come with the past. So all the people that you done slammed and did and done and swapped and all of it, they remember. So it's great for them to see you when you're new, but let's not act like you didn't come from that. That's my only issue, is that women that come from a certain way of living and a certain way of life don't want to act like that. It's crazy to me. If I had had sex with more than the 2 people that I have, then I wouldn't have a problem talking about it. How are you going to lie about certain things that happen with your vagina? How are you going to do that and feel good about yourself? Some women do. Kudos to you, but I am not one that can lie about stuff like that, or I've ever looked in someone's eyes that I feel I'm connected to and just gonna bullshit them, because it's not right. It's just not fair. It's not right. And you take the L. You be the bad guy. Don't think that some days my mouth, I'm not like, Of course, because some people assume, don't move my stroll, don't assume so much. I can say so much. Perfect example. And I love this story because this is an example of how I have been a horrible friend to some women and how either it's meant to be or it's not. Shout outs to you, Janika, my best friend from like the 3rd grade, who has literally stayed by my side. And I say stayed by my side because she could have written me off so many times. And I'm gonna tell this story real quick and wrap it up. I get invited to be at my best friend's wedding. I'm so excited. She's getting married to her boo, high school little boo. And Brian and Janika, shout out to you guys. You guys are the realest. So I get invited to be in her wedding as like, the maid of honor. I'm so like, oh my God, we didn't go to high school together, but junior high school, elementary. So I'm excited, right? I get to be in this wedding. I'm my first wedding. Hey, all of that. So I go to the wedding, I go to a couple of the rehearsals, and I'm gonna keep it real. Janika's girlfriends from high school hated me. Who's this chick with the dreads coming in? All of them had their nice little doobies and their nice little blowouts. And here I am with my locks and my bungo. And they're all like, they just were not vibing. Same thing with the dress fittings. Went in for the dress fittings. For some reason, it was an issue. Whenever I'm doing stuff and I'm just thinking that it's gonna be natural, easy, and it becomes an issue, I go, wait a minute. How did this become an issue? So again, okay, I don't care what dress we wear. I don't care. So, they all went through the different styles of dresses and what do we all agree upon. What I realized is whatever y'all want to do, I'll do. Longer story short, these girls really didn't feel for me. I go to another rehearsal and it's just like my presence was really a problem and I'm not even doing anything. So I pulled my girl aside. I said, Janika, I'm done. I can't do this. She too thin for this dress, and she, just because she I can't do this, Janika. I love you to pieces, but I am not going to be in your wedding because I am not going to be an energy that upsets and annoys all your girlfriends from high school. I wasn't your girlfriend in high school. They don't feel that I deserve it. I didn't put in the work that they felt that they put in. Look, girl, please don't take this offensively, but I'm not going to be in your wedding. I'm pulling out. Let your best friend be the maid of honor. Let her do this. I don't even really believe in this type of, you're spending money that you don't even, you know what? I'm sorry, Janika, I'm done. I didn't even go to the wedding. This is my best friend. I didn't go to her wedding, okay? Years later, I'm seeing pictures. I'm like, yo, I apologize. I'm sorry that I was, she said, I know you. I know you weren't gonna thing. And there's a part of me that I love you to pieces, Celina, because you don't try to be, I said, look, after I saw that it was upsetting Stacy and all these other friends of yours, like, they want the role, they want the position. Let me free up and give it to them. I just want you to be happy. I don't care if I'm in the damn wedding or not. I just want you to be happy. And that could have destroyed our friendship. That happened over 15 years ago. could have destroyed our friendship. But it didn't. She decided to still be friends with me and to say, look, I love you regardless. That doesn't happen. I can't say that I'm the best with women. As soon as I see certain energies of jealousy or of like putting each other down, or why am I always the one to have to explain myself, then I gotta separate myself and go, these girls just don't like me. Maybe I don't know why, but y'all can answer it. Maybe some women that are in certain ciphers, you have to have certain energy be similar. And if you don't go through certain heartache or heartbreak, or, they don't trust you. And I have to, be all right with that. But all that's to say, ladies, we are bigger than the sum of our parts. And we are more than what we give ourselves credit for. And just like Tracy, Elise Ross said, I really hope I'm getting her name right. And just as she said, all of this, and I can't. It's the same thing. Have the family, but I had to sacrifice certain things because I can't raise my son and be dating and go out and make a man feel comfortable by bringing him into my home with my son in the bedroom and no other man. And, oh, I know who your baby dad. It's too much. Maybe in years, maybe I'll fall back in love. All of that with the person. Who knows? But what I do know is the best place to be is in a place where you are creating and where you are being honest about what you love and what brings you joy. And don't compromise that for any man, for any group, for any community. Peace.